Hey Addicts, welcome back to another episode of Addiction Prescription. I'm Josh.
I'm Michael.
And today we're going to be talking about a series that I've read for a long time and finished it when it came out. And Michael just finished reading all of it. And that is Invincible. Which, if you guys don't know, this is a superhero comic that is a little bit more mature because it's very brutal and violence, and it's also got some elements of other mature themes, but it is set in it's really weird because they have elements where they share different superhero stuff, but it's more only just as like references than anything. But and the own part, it sets in its own superhero universe, and I guess I'll let Michael talk a little bit about the main characters that are important, because we don't want to go into a full review, but just keeping it real short.
Yeah, totally remember all their names. So first we have Mark, is his name? Yeah. He is invincible.
Wow, you just act like you didn't read a single thing of it.
He is invincible, the superhero. What's kind of a tangent here, but what's kind of interesting about this is you have different comics that are made from like the side characters. So this is kind of like an overview. You have Earth and you have like the Galactic Alliance, which is not what they call it, but
it's
Coalition of Planets.
No, it's global something, right?
I don't
global
know.
Justice or something I don't remember. It sounds very similar to like the Justice League.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's elements that I really liked, and there's probably like 100 characters we could talk about, but we're just going to talk about 3.
Yeah.
So we have Mark, Invincible, Eve,
who is Adam Eve, alter ego.
She is also a superhero. Her powers are
I can control atoms.
Yeah, she can like shape things and create force fields. Invincible, I didn't mention. His powers are like flight and super strength. Yeah. And so basically Superman.
Yeah.
Without the heat vision.
Pretty much. And like not the tornado breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or X-ray vision.
Anyway, yeah, it's similar but not at all the same. Yeah. And then we have his father, Nolan, who plays kind of Invincible's father, who plays kind of an interesting role throughout the book. I'll just say his role evolves over time.
Yeah. And I love his alter ego name, Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
Yeah. Such a classic. But yeah, this is a story that goes on it's around 140 some issues. So it's a pretty hefty boy in terms of the comic world. It's got a lot of tones that I really loved about it. I started reading Invincible probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I just continued to read it until it finally ended. And it's really interesting how they evolve it, because it starts really, I guess, generic in terms of the superhero world. Like maybe for the first 8 to 10 issues, you're like, wow, this is like every other superhero story I've read. Wow, so original. But then it takes a turn that I think nobody really expected, and it really kind of cements what Invincible is going to be. And, from that point on, you really see that lining kind of repeat in different ways. And, you get to see a personal side of Mark. I think Mark is interesting in the fact that he is a superhero that wants to do good, but has elements of maybe like an anti-hero a bit, but it's weird because he has kind of anti-hero type tendencies, but at the end of the day, he wants to be, the standard superhero. So it kind of leaves a conflicting view that he constantly has to battle throughout the series.
Yeah, if I had to summarize the series in maybe 2 central concepts, I would say one of them is character development, especially with Mark. With Eve, there's some, and with his father, there's definitely a lot of character development. And then the second part of that would be betrayal. There's a lot of betrayal in this series throughout the 147 issues or whatever it is, 144, 145.
It's the Game of Thrones of like superheroes.
Yeah, like for example, I read Compendium 1 and Compendium 2 basically back to back. And when I got to the last section of the book, I was like, all right, I know who all these characters are. I know what their motivations are. Nothing's going to change that. But there are some secrets towards the end that were pretty enjoyable. What did you think of the ending? That's another thing we can go
The ending is something that I liked it. There's parts of it that I feel like they could have expanded on a little bit to give us, just more of an insight. But then again, I understand that they had a lot of immediate things they wanted to end, and then but then still give a, I guess a more future seeing ending. I don't know. It's hard to say it without going into detail about what I mean, but I think they did the best at balancing it with the amount of time that they had. Let me just put it that way. There are some things that maybe I would have changed, but in order for that to happen, they would have had to do more issues, and so. But I did like the ending. I think the ending is something that you kind of needed after the whole series in terms of how it ends, just because there's so much, dark and despairing things that happen throughout the series. And I think the ending is like one of those things where it's like you really felt good about it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I think the ending, as it was written, was really really good. One of the better endings I've experienced in comics or media in general. I do think it was a little rushed, which kind of hurt it a little bit because there are many things that would pay off more if you saw it through issue by issue. There's one character who grows up in one page, and I think it would have been more rewarding if we could have seen that progression. And there's also another character who has like a slight betrayal towards the very, very end. It's like, well, I saw them once or twice, but it doesn't have the same effect as some of the other kind of twists towards the end. But if I had to in this series, we kind of talk about would you recommend it or not. I think it's a great series to start with. If you're into the superhero genre, it's a good series to pick up. We got some great cameos. We got Spawn in this one, and so I would recommend it. Thumbs up.
Yeah, and kind of the same. I agree with everything Michael just said. There's, I think, a lot of things that you can enjoy, and if you're a superhero fan, but I think you'll definitely enjoy it. If you're somebody that's kind of hesitant because you think superheroes are really oversaturated in entertainment right now, I think you can pick this up and still really enjoy it because there's a lot of different things that they do with the genre that maybe haven't been seen in mainstream media. And one of the other things I would say you look out for, because this is written by Robert Kirkman, so there is foreshadowing galore in here. There's actually something that happens in like volume 20 something. I'm not going to say specifically because I don't want you to see it coming, but it is referenced all the way back in the first volume. And so that's just a little bit of a peek of what you're in for, and just kind of the depth that's in it. So for me, I definitely recommend it. If you get addicted to it, which we hope you do, because this is what the series is meant for, you can finish it all in one sitting if you're really that dedicated.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a 6 or 7 hour read if you were that crazy.
Yeah, you crazy.
So yeah, that'll pretty much do it for our video today. This is kind of a new series that we brought out. We probably will have 1 or 2 episodes out by the time this airs.
Yep.
But if you want to check any other of our content, we have full reviews for Kill or Be Killed, another comic series that we really enjoyed, and podcast coming out, anime, we got videos, we got TV reviews.
So much.
Everything on the channel. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace, Addicts.